Our next guest is a survivor of the Club Q mass shooting who spoke also before lawmakers today. Here's a bit of what Michael Anderson had to say.
The time to do something is now. What needs to be done is placing the lives of children and adults above our unhealthy obsession with assault rifles. And you are some of the ones who can make a difference. Many in our government say nothing can be done. This epidemic of violence is just the price we must pay for freedom in this country. That is a lie. The facts speak for themselves, and your denial of this gun violence reality is not a policy proposal.
Michael was bartending at Club Q on that tragic night, and he joins us now live along with GLAAD President and CEO Sarah Kate Ellis. Michael, you also told lawmakers today, actions based on hate almost took life from me. How are you feeling after testifying today?
First, thank you for having me. And after testifying today, it was a very powerful and moving experience for myself. I haven't gone back to listen to that full speech yet, but I'm very proud of the message that I was able to convey directly to the people who can actually do something to solve this problem in our country.
So from the eye contact, the listening, the vibe in the room, Michael, do you think this is going to go anywhere?
I think that the outlook for the next Congress is not great. They're going to spend their time focused on Hunter Biden's laptop and other things they deem to be important. So I'm grateful in this last few weeks of this Congress that we were able to have this session with Chairwoman Maloney prioritizing this for us. But I do hope Republican hearts and minds change. I don't know how many people and different types of people need to die before they realize that there is a common denominator amongst all these attacks. And you look at the weapons used in most of these mass shootings, and you'll see a very, very common response on that list.
Have you been able to go back to work, Michael? I mean, what has life been like for you? Clearly, you have the resilience and the strength to get before lawmakers and testify, but has life in any way gotten back to normal when it comes to work?
Absolutely not. My only job at the time was bartending at Club Q. Since this has all happened, I've now become an administrator for the club on the business side of things. So I'm working directly with club owner Matthew Haynes to move the club forward and start to figure out what the future looks like for Club Q. But in terms of the life I live for this, it has completely changed in almost every aspect possible.
Well, you're definitely doing something to be proactive, that's for sure, Michael. And Sarah, as we all know, this is not an isolated event. I mean, hate crimes against the LGBTQ community are putting the livelihood of people in the community at stake and at risk every day. I mean, businesses, entertainers, patrons, all afraid to go back to places that are supposed to be safe spaces. So what's your take on how lawmakers are responding to this? And do you think this testimony from people like Michael will go anywhere?
Well, I think it's really that we raise this narrative up and that we continue the conversation, because we do know that there has been an assault on our community, both legislatively and with rhetoric. And then we know that this all goes back onto social media platforms that goes unchecked, and it boils over into our towns and our cities and ends in violence. And we need to draw that narrative and line for folks who don't understand that over 300 anti-LGBTQ bills, they flood the system with anti-LGBTQ rhetoric, that there's something wrong with us, that we are inhumane, that we shouldn't exist. And then you marry that with social media, and where you become even more desensitized, and it ends up in violence against our community. We tracked 150 attacks on LGBTQ events this year so far. That's unheard of for the LGBTQ community. So there is definitely something going on in that there's more and more hate against our community that is being perpetuated by political operatives who have an agenda of their own, and they're using our community, and it's ending up in very violent situations for our community. So it's really important that we're out there talking about this, that we're educating people about this, because I think education and awareness is the beginning of it.
So let me follow up and just add to that. I mean, on the complete opposite side of things, yesterday, President Biden signed the historic Marriage Equality Act into law. So much love. I mean, it was incredible to see just the outside on the lawn there at the White House. So many advocates and supporters there as that happened. But there were still some Republicans that voted against it. Is there hope, you think, though, just seeing what happened yesterday, that movements like that, historic moments like that, will help prevent the violence and extremism that we are seeing?
Absolutely. I think yesterday was historic. It was celebratory, and it is a step in the right direction. And we need more bipartisanship around everything that we do, because politicizing LGBTQ people is not what Americans think. Over 70% of Americans think that we should be married and that we should live equal lives in this country. So putting targets on our back is actually against American will. So I think yesterday was a glimmer of hope, a big shining hope. It was great to finish the year that way, in such a positive way, and we need more of that.
Michael, finally, what policy solutions would you like to see after today? And just listening to other people testify, what can lawmakers do right now to just make you feel better about where this is going?
Sure. I did say previously on another program, but my problem is that the Republican Party live in this state of denial where they just send thoughts and prayers, as we heard today in the committee. And that's all they do. And they deny and they pray and they send thoughts, and that's all they do. But in fact, there are things we can do. The big one being an assault weapons ban that the president has called for, something we've already had in the past, and it was quite effective. Other things we can do are psychological checks on a federal level, red flag laws on a federal level, and start to perhaps consider raising the firearm ownership age, and just start to make this a more difficult process, perhaps, or more complex process to get these high-powered weapons, because right now it's far too easy for these weapons to fall in the wrong hands of people that don't need them, that may not be psychologically sound. And when you combine, like she was saying, when you combine this rhetoric with the ability to get these weapons, it equals nothing good. It equals into me almost losing my life, but having to see my friends lose theirs as well. And, the assault weapons ban is not the only thing we can do. I just would challenge the Republican lawmakers to actually try to do something instead of just send thoughts and prayers, because apparently God is not listening when they send that, because they do this every time and nothing changes.
Well, it's obviously something we will continue to follow and talk about. Michael Anderson, Sarah Kate Ellis, thank you both so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.